السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Today we are continuing our seerah about Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu, and today we are concluding his life by some there are a lot of events in his life, but I will try to summarize it in this last session. As we reached last time how his master and Khatirah were torturing him to the extent that he will not just forgive up and say whatever they want. He was insisting and resisting them and insisting to say Ahadun Ahad. And then one day Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu ardah went to them while they were torturing him and shouted at them, "Are you killing a man because he says Allah is my Lord?" Then he shouted at Umayyah ibn Khalaf, "Take more than his price and set him free." It was as if Umayyah were drowning and had caught a lifeboat. It was to his liking, and he was very much pleased when he heard Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu offering the price of Bilal's freedom. Since they had despaired of subjugating Bilal, and as they were merchants, they realized that selling him was more to them than his death. They sold him to Bakr radiallahu anhu, and then he freed him immediately, and Bilal took his place among free men. When Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu put his arm around Bilal, rushing with him to freedom, Umayyah said to him, "Take him, for by Allah and Al-Uzza, if you had refused to buy him except for 1 ounce of gold, I would have sold him to you." So he's trying to make or belittling of Bilal. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu realized the bitterness of despair and disappointment hidden in these words. It was appropriate not to answer, but because they violated the dignity of this man who had become his brother and his equal, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to Umayyah, "By Allah, if you had refused to sell him except for 100 ounces, I would have paid it." He departed with his companion to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, giving him news of his liberation, and there was a great celebration. Then after the Hijrah, the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims to Al-Madinah, and they're settling there, the Prophet ﷺ instituted the adhan. So who would become the muazzin 5 times a day? Of course, Bilal, who would call across distant lands, "Allah is the greatest, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." Who had shouted 13 years before, while the torture was destroying him, "Allah is one. He was chosen by the Prophet ﷺ that day to be the first muazzin in Islam. With his beautiful voice, he filled the hearts with faith and ears with awe. Then, when he called the adhan, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." The days went by, and Mecca and Fath Mecca, the Prophet and the Muslims at that time conquered Mecca. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was saying Allahu Akbar when he entered the Mecca at the head of 10,000 Muslims. He headed to the Kaaba immediately, this holy place which the Quraysh had crowded with idols to the number of days of the years. The truth has come and falsehood was vanished or has vanished. The Prophet ﷺ entered Kaaba accompanied by Bilal. Then he ordered Bilal to ascend to the top of the mosque and call to the prayer. Bilal called the adhan. How magnificent was time, place, and occasion. Bilal lived with the Prophet ﷺ, witnessing all the battles with him, calling to prayer and observing the rites of this great religion that took him out of darkness to light and from servitude to freedom. When the Messenger ﷺ passed away to Allah, well-pleased and well-pleasing, and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq took the command of the Muslims after him, Bilal went to the Khalifa of the Prophet ﷺ and said to him, O Caliph, the Prophet ﷺ, I heard the Prophet saying, the best deed of a believer is jihad in the cause of Allah. Then Abu Bakr replied to him, so what do you want, Bilal? He said, I want to defend the cause of Allah until I die. Then Abu Bakr said, and who will call the adhan for us? Bilal said, with his eyes overflowing with tears, I will not call the adhan for anyone after the Prophet ﷺ. Then Abu Bakr said, stay and call to the prayer for us, Bilal. Bilal said, if you freed me to be for you, I will do what you want. But if you freed me for Allah, leave me to whom I was freed for. Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I freed you for Allah, Bilal. The narrators differ. This is the last piece. Some of them believe that he traveled and remained fighting and defending. Some others narrate that he accepted Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu request to stay with him in Medina. When Abu Bakr died and Umar succeeded him, Bilal asked again to Umar his permission and went to Syria. Anyhow, Bilal vowed the remaining part of his life to fight in the cause of Islam, determined to meet Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, having done the best deed they love. His last azan was during days of Umar radiallahu anhu. When he visited Syria, the Muslims entreated him to persuade Bilal to asked Umar ibn al-Khattab to ask Bilal to call for adhan for them. Then Umar radiallahu anhu asked Bilal to call for the adhan. Bilal ascended and did so. The companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who were with the Khalifa Umar radiallahu anhu while Bilal was calling for the adhan wept as they never did before, and Umar the most strongly did so. Bilal died in Syria fighting in the cause of Allah just as he had wanted. This is a very inspiring story and a life full of hardships. So if we believe that any one of us is facing a lot of hardships in his life, in his work, in his with his family or any place, that's nothing compared to those people who were facing this torture and hardship. But they believed in one cause and they fight it for, and we should take them as an example for us and do similar. And may Allah help us to be closer to Allah and remove the hardship for our beloved brothers in Gaza and all the Muslim countries. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.